Welcome to the Painting Coach, and in this video I'm really excited to show you how to paint Lhykhis, the new Phoenix Lord for the Warp Spiders, of course for the brand new Aeldari range just released. Thank you so much to Games Workshop for sending me this model early. Now, this is quite an intricate one, there's lots of little bits and pieces, so let's get painting. Now the first thing I've done is I've built the entire model and I've primed it with Chaos Black. You can do sub-assemblies, but just be very careful with the build and follow the instructions. I actually made a mistake when I was building it, which means I had to then build it all at once. So learn from me there. The other thing I've done is give this a really thin coat of Abaddon Black paint, and this is just so that I've unified the black colours. If I do make any mistakes, it's going to be easy to fix. The first thing I'm going to do is take some Khorne Red, and I'm going to use this to paint all of the jump pack. Now, this is a fairly large area on the model. Don't worry about being too tidy at this point. You just want to get a nice even coat of Khorne Red all over it. When that's dry, I'm then going to take some Nuln Oil and paint this all over the Khorne Red. Now, the key with this is not to let it settle too heavily in any of the recesses and pool too heavily. All we're looking to do is just give it a nice little bit of a shade so we can really build up the vibrance in the red as we move forward. Once that's completely dry, we'll then start to build up the red again using Khorne Red. What we're looking to do here is leave the darker bits in all of the recesses. So just take your time with this. Make sure you thin your Khorne Red a little bit as well, because that'll help blend it down and just help ease that transition. But we are going to be painting the majority of the jump pack for this stage. And we've also got the buckle of the jump pack as well across the chest. Once you're happy with that, we're now going to start to really brighten the red, and the colour I'm going to use for this is Mephiston Red. Now, I have thinned this down a little bit. That just means it's going to flow off the brush easier, and it also means as it dries, it's going to blend down a little bit into the Khorne Red from the previous stage. Now, in terms of what we're looking to do, we are again looking to paint the majority of the jump pack and the red armour elements. However, we are going to start to leave more and more of that Khorne Red and that darker shaded red in the recesses. So whilst you're doing this, just have it in your mind which bits are going to be brighter and which bits are going to catch the most light, and that'll help you influence in terms of how much Mephiston Red you put on. I'm going to start to add a little bit of a thick line highlight for the next stage, and the colour I'm going to use for this is Evil Sunz Scarlet. Now this is a really nice bright red, so all we're looking to do is put a nice thick edge highlight in around all of the edges. Now on some parts of the model you would be able to drag your brush to get a crisp highlight, but we do want to make sure it is just a little bit thicker than normal, because this will help us build up the transition, and we're obviously going to put more line highlights in as well, and we just want to make sure that they're nice and sharp and they really stand out. The first sharp line highlight we're going to do is with Wild Rider Red. And what we're looking to do here is paint it inside that Evil Sunz Scarlet from the last stage. Now, this is one of those steps that can take a little bit of time, so make sure you haven't got too much on your brush and you've got a good point. You really want to get some nice thin lines here, and this is where dragging your brush along those sharp edges will really pay dividends. So just work your way around all the edges on the model, dragging your brush, and where you can't drag it, just carefully draw that highlight inside the Evil Sunz Scarlet. If you make any mistakes, you can always go back to some of the previous red colours to tidy it up. The last highlight we'll put on the red for now is going to be with Fire Dragon Bright. Now this is going to push some of the colour towards that orange and away from the red, but it does just give a nice crispness to it from a distance. We are going to use this very sparingly, so really only on the corners and where you've got any joints, and where you can drag the brush, do that. Make sure you haven't got too much on there, and make sure you've got a good point as well. And this should just give you that little bit of pop. We'll paint all of the white elements next, and the colour I'm going to use for this is Corax White. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Corax White, but I get along fine with it. A little bit of water does thin it down quite nicely. And in terms of what we're looking to do, we're looking to paint all of those elements that are going to be white. So we've got the mandibles around the mask. We've also got the face mask itself. We've got the sword blade, because I'm going to be painting that using contrast paint as well, so I want a nice bright base for that. And I am going to paint the inside of the fusion blasters as well. I think they're fusion blasters, I'm not 100% sure, I just want them white. And obviously there's the hair as well. So we're going to shade some of the white elements, or use Gryph-Charger Grey contrast paint. We are going to thin it 50-50 with contrast medium. I'm going to use this to shade the mandibles, the face mask and the hair. And this is a nice, easy and straightforward step. Just take your time and try not to spill this on any of the red that you've already finished. Once that's completely dry, we're then going to go back in with a second coat of the Gryph-Charger Grey, and we're going to paint this only on the mandibles, but we're going to focus this up towards the face area, and this will just give us that nice darker colour that you can see on the box art. Once that's completely dry, we can go in and highlight those white elements. And the color I'm going to use for this is AK White. You can use whatever bright white that you prefer. It really doesn't matter at this stage. Just use what you're comfortable with. I'm going to paint the eyes in the spider helmet as well as highlight the face mask. I'm also going to highlight the hair as well, just by making sure I'm using very nice, precise brush strokes. And then when it comes to those mandibles that are on the face mask, I'm just going to drag the edge of the brush and get some nice, sharp highlights on there. I am going to go in and highlight all of those holes individually as well. We'll quickly paint those eyes, and I'm going to take some Blood Angels Red contrast paint for this, paint it over the area I've just painted white, clean my brush off, and then just tap it to the area, and that should suck up some of the paint, leaving us a nice little bright red glow effect. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can always mix some Blood Angels Red contrast paint with a normal white paint and just dot the middle so you get a nice pink dot. I'm going to paint the straps of the jump pack next. Now, these are a little bit difficult to see because of all the bits of model going on. But essentially, I'm going to base them using a nice dark brown like Dryad Bark. So just be careful you don't spill it on things you've already finished. But this should be fairly easy and straightforward. I'm then going to take some Gorthor Brown and just drag this across the edge of those straps. And that'll give you a nice, simple highlight. There's no need to spend a lot of time on these because you can barely see them, but they do need doing. Next up, we'll paint all of the gold elements. So the colour I'm using for this is Dragon's Gold from Two Thin Coats. Now, if you haven't got this and you've got Retributor armour, that's absolutely fine, there's no problem at all. What I'm looking to do is drag my brush along those sculpted elements to get nice, crisp highlights and reduce the amount of cleanup I'm going to have to do later on. In some places, this isn't possible, so just take your time. Now, there is plenty of gold on the model. You've got the spider rune on the backpack, the arms and the legs. You've got the hilt and the handle of the sword as well. And you've also got some elements on the jump pack to do as well. So just take your time and try not to spill this and anything already done. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of Reikland Fleshshade just to shade the biggest gold elements and where I've got gold on gold. So if I got a gemstone insert on top of gold, I'm just going to shade around that just to give me a little bit of differentiation, but I'm not going crazy with this. To highlight the gold, I'm going to use Glistening Gold, again from Two Thin Coats, but if you've got Liberator Gold from Citadel, that's absolutely fine. Generally, what I'm looking to do is drag my brush to get nice, crisp highlights, but if you look at the box art, you will notice that a lot of the gold is quite bright, so I am painting quite a lot of it. I'm not leaving too much of that darker gold colour showing. To finish the gold and really make it pop, I'm using some white gold from Pro Acryl. If you haven't got this, you can mix a tiny bit of bright silver into your Liberator Gold or Glistening Gold, but not too much. And this really is just for the bits of gold I think are going to catch the absolute most light. So I am using it fairly sparingly and just dotting it across the model. Now I've gone in with Abaddon Black and fixed all of the spillages, so it's now time to do Lhykhis' suit. So now there's quite a lot of this, and this is probably one of the most time-consuming parts of the model because there are lots of black elements here. The first colour I'm taking is Dark Reaper, and generally what I'm looking to do with this is put quite chunky highlights down. I'm doing thick line highlights, I'm looking at also doing larger area highlights, and I'm using the highlights on the box art to guide where I'm putting them. So just work your way around all the elements. Where you can, drag your brush to get nice crisp highlights. And where you can't, just be very, very careful. Now I'm using a fairly big brush here to do this because there are lots of areas to highlight. And like I said, this is generally going to be an area highlight. So don't worry too much if you put it on a little too thick. You can always just take some Abaddon Black and just go back in and tidy it all up. With that first highlight done, you can see the top of Lhykhis looks fairly Dark Reaper in colour, and that's because I've used quite a lot of it. So what we need to do now is really just make those sharpest edges pop. The next colour I'm going to use is Thunderhawk Blue, and what I'm looking to do is start the process of line highlighting and edge highlighting. So I'm not going to focus this like I focused the Dark Reaper in terms of painting large areas. For this, I'm specifically looking at sharp edges. So if I can drag my brush, I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I'm just very carefully going to paint some crisp lines. So all I'm doing here is making sure this is inside the Dark Reaper from the previous step. And where I can, I'm being as tidy and as crisp as I possibly can be, particularly around areas I've already finished. And if you find that this is a little bit too blue, you can always go back in with some Abaddon Black, very thin Abaddon Black, and just tidy up and ease that transition a little. To finish all of the highlights on the suit, I'm going to use some Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to use this very, very sparingly. I'm only going to apply this to the absolute sharpest parts of the model, leaving little dot highlights all across it. And that's just going to give me the impression of bright points. It's also going to give me an impression of sharpness along those elements that are quite jagged and quite rigid. Again, if you do make any mistakes or you put too much on, you can always paint over it with the highlight colour from the previous step. Next up, we're going to paint the sword, and the colour I'm going to use to base this is Briar Queen Chill, which is a contrast paint, but it's kind of like I don't know, like a bluey, greeny, grey colour. So all I'm going to do is just paint this all over the sword hilt, being careful not to spill onto the gold. Once that's completely dry, I'm going to take another coat of the Briar Queen Chill and just pop this on areas where I think it's going to be darker. And all I'm doing here is really just looking at the box art. And I'm also going to feather the edges of it a little bit by cleaning my brush off, just so that there's a little bit of a blend and transition. Once that's completely dry, I'm going to go back in with Aethermatic Blue and paint this over the Briar Queen Chill and focusing on the areas that I want to be darkest. Again, I'm following the box art for this, and I'm putting a little bit of Aethermatic Blue down, cleaning my brush off, and then just feathering the edge a little bit. It's really key here to work quite quickly because you don't want that contrast paint to dry, and then you cause tearing as you go back into it. So just go as fast as you can on this step. The last colour I'm going to use is Kroxigor Scale, and this is going to be for the darkest elements. Now, again, focusing on the box art and looking at where it's darkest on there, I'm going to do the same technique, pop it down, feather it out a little bit. But again, you do have to work quickly here. I've made a little bit of a mistake in some elements, so I just had to go back in and tidy it up with some Aethermatic Blue and mixing in some Kroxigor Scale. But if you're not confident, practice on a spare piece of plastic first or prime up a bit of sprue, and you can really get this technique nailed. It is meant to be quick. It's not meant to be the smoothest blend. Once you're happy with that, I'm then going to take some AK white, again, any bright white, and you can just drag the edge of your brush along the sword blade, and this is going to give you a nice crisp highlight. My highlight's a little bit too thick, so I have just gone back in and feathered it out using some of the contrast paint. But again, it's a nice, easy way of hiding some of the roughness of the contrast paint blends as well. So there's a little bit of a hack there for you. Now, that line down the middle is a little bit more complex. There is a ridge on the sword, so if you're very careful, you could drag your brush, but I'm just going to take my time and paint it in. We've also got lots of gems across the model, so at this point, I'm going to base them using the AK white, and this will give me a nice basis for going on and getting them complete. For all the purple gems, I'm going to take some Volupus pink contrast paint and just paint this over that area. Once it's completely dry, I'm then just going to add a little bit more in the areas where I want it to be darkest. I'm doing this again based on the box art. For all the blue gems, I'm doing exactly the same, but I'm using Talassar Blue contrast paint. Next up, we've got those fusion blasters, and they kind of transition from orange to red. So what I'm going to do is take some Magmadroth Flame contrast paint and paint it over that white base. Then I'm going to take some Flesh Terror's red and paint it into the sort of second half. I'm then going to go back to Magmadroth Flame and just feather it across that Flesh Terror's red so it blends in. And this will give you a really nice orangey red blend. I'm then going to take some Lugganath Orange and just draw some squiggly lines and dots to just show the energy pulsing in those fusion blasters. Next up, we'll do the base and we'll paint all of that warp explosion. Now, this is going to be nice, easy and straightforward as well. So firstly, I'm going to base all of the stone using Mechanicus Standard Grey, and I am going to paint the stones that are kind of exploding out of Lhykhis' appearance as well. When that's dry, I'm going to shade all of it using Nuln Oil. This is just to get some of that detail back, and apologies that the focus is not great here. When that's completely dry, I'm going to take some Dawnstone and dry brush over all of the areas, and I'm also going to dry brush as much of the stonework in the explosion as I can as well. And finally, I'll take some Grey Seer and I'll do exactly the same thing, just focusing on the edges of all the stonework, but again, also taking into account the stones we've got exploding out as well. Now it's time to paint all of that warp explosion. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some Sotek Green, and I'm using a very small dry brush for this. I'm going to dry brush a little bit across the rock to give a little bit of a glow, but I'm generally going to be dry brushing this across the rocks in the explosion as well. Not so much worry about those warp trails and wisps, because we'll go back in and do them shortly. I just want to get this bit dry brushed. We're then going to take some Temple Guard Blue and continue the dry brushing across the rocks, particularly focusing where we've got a little bit of glow and also towards the center where this explosion is coming from. Finally, we'll use a little bit of Baharroth Blue, again with the very small dry brush, and you'll notice I haven't cleaned my brush in between. It's the same brush I'm using all the way through. And this is just giving me a little bit more brightness and helping me to highlight the edges of some of those rocks. Once that's done, we'll go back to Sotek Green and I will paint all of the warp wisps and warp explosion. So be careful not to go over any of the rocks that you've already finished. This is just focusing on all the trails we've got. We'll go back to Temple Guard Blue, and now with the Temple Guard Blue, what we're looking to do is drag our brush along the models. We're only catching the sharpest parts, and this will give you a bit of a transition between the Sotek Green from the previous step. And again, we're constantly lighting up this area. Next, we'll do exactly the same using Baharroth Blue, but because we're doing this in a layer style, it's going to be much more vivid than we did when we were dry brushing it just now. So again, drag your brush across all of those sharp bits of warp explosion, and you'll get a nice bright blue highlight. This is nice and easy and straightforward, but we are going to focus more towards the center and around Lhykhis' feet, because that's where the brightness should be. We're also going to add additional highlights across the rocks. The last highlight, which is really focusing on the middle, is a 50-50 mix of Baharroth Blue and AK White. So you've got a very, very, very bright blue. Now you could use Blue Horror, but it's a little bit grey for my taste to do this step. But again, this is really focusing on the center of that warp explosion, particularly around Lhykhis' feet, as that's going to give us the brightest area. And there we go, Lhykhis is done, ready to explode onto the battlefield. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, it is a very detailed and intricate kit, so it's a little more complex than perhaps what we normally do on the channel, but I'm really happy with the result regardless. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give me a like and a comment down below. I'll see you next time.